traveldunia@gmail.com. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Travel Dunia Safari. Don't forget to use the Sporty FM promo code SportyFan25. Thank you. Why is this the fresh one from Madam Shea? And Olive the Boy. Oh, this one, Crazy Love. This is the Sporty Breakfast. You can send your WhatsApp message 054-257-1061. Before we get into anything, it's important to keep you updated on this story. There are two stories that trouble me. Stories that trouble me. Now, if you go to Ghana Web's portal, for example, the story says Ashanti Regional Criminal Investigations Department of the Police, the CID, has launched an investigation into the mysterious death of a 20-year-old Senegalese national identified as Sheikh Toure in Kumasi. Okay. Now, yesterday, the police confirmed in a statement signed by DSP Godwin Ahianyo, head of the Public Affairs Unit, that Toure's body was currently at the Ebenezer mortuary in Tafu, pending further investigation. According to initial reports, a man identified only as Issa, who claimed to be Toure's brother, brought the deceased to the mortuary. Now, Issa reportedly told mortuary attendants that Toure had been involved in a car crash or a motor crash and was rushed to the Menchia government hospital in critical condition on the 16th of October 2025. However, hospital records have contradicted this account, revealing that Toure was already dead upon arrival. Medical staff also noted that the deceased sustained severe abdominal injuries, raising further suspicion about the true cause of death. Police have described the circumstances surrounding Toure's death as suspicious and are working to establish what led to the fatal injury. So if you go to the police X handle there, they have placed that news there. Now, somebody will ask, okay, so what is so special about this? Well, a few days ago, also over the weekend, and, you know, the news was circulating that the news was circulating that this Toure was a Senegalese goalkeeper who had been brought to Ghana, I think, on the promise of being sent to Europe, and then he got kidnapped. Then there were talks of ransom and all of that. Eventually, he died. So the police is looking into that. So that's one of the stories that has upset me. Not upset me in terms of like getting me angry, but I've been very troubled ever since I heard it. And I've seen some other stories, you know, similar stories of young footballers being promised trips to Europe, and then it doesn't happen. Some of them die. Really tragic stuff. The other bit has to do with Nagod FC. We'll be speaking with Michael Odro in a second. Michael Odro is the CEO of Nagod FC. Now, the team suffered they narrowly escaped tragedy Sunday evening when their bus collided. When their bus was involved in a crash near Abuasa, a few kilometers from the Adomi Bridge in the eastern region. Yesterday, I said I saw some of the players at the hospital, and I was wondering what was happening. So this is the context. This is why they were at the hospital yesterday. Let me go to the line. Michael Odro is joining us. Let's get an understanding as to what exactly happened and what the developments have been following the incident. Michael, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Nathan. Thanks for the time. By the grace of God, we are doing well.
Can you just recount what exactly happened? I know it's quite tough, but I just want to have an understanding as to what exactly happened and how the crash came about.
Okay, so on Sunday, we played against Home Stars at the host of stadium in matchday 4 of the Access Bank Division 1 League. So the game ended at about 5 o'clock. And so around 5:30, 5:45, we had departed home for Akosombo. We based in Akosombo in the build-up to the game. So the plan was to return to Akosombo and have dinner at Akosombo, and then we continue our journey to Accra. So at Abuasa, which is about 10 minutes drive to Akintoku, where the Adobe Bridge is. According to our driver, there was a trailer that was behind him, and he saw the trailer from his driving mirror, so he anticipated that even if the trailer would apply the brakes, he's not sure. So he moved from our lane to the lane of the opposite direction, those that were traveling from Akosombo or Akintoku to Ho. But he still could not escape fully. So the trailer crashed the tip of the back of the bus. So usually these coastal buses, where you have the ladder that climbs to the carrier at the top of the bus.
Yeah.
That was the part that was hit by the trailer. So we veered off the road, the bus veered off the road into a coconut plantation. And in the coconut plantation, the car traveled about 200 to 300 meters in the coconut plantation. Recounting this is terrible, but it's just by the grace of God. I'm sure you may have seen the extent of damages to the car, and you know that it's just by the grace of God that we survived. Usually I would drive ahead of the team and on our return behind the team, but I don't know, for some strange reasons on Sunday, I felt so tired. I did not drive. So I and your good friend Kofi Mensah Laimomo of Oman FM were all in the bus with the team. It was a 30-man contingent, which had 21 players, 7 technical team members, and then 2 management members, myself and then Kofi Mensah Laimomo.
Okay.
So that was exactly what happened. It happened at around 6:57 in the evening.
Wow, this is, look, commiserations on this. This is really, really troubling. I can't say I can imagine how you feel, because just listening to you recount this must be tough. So following that incident, or following that, what happened? We do know that there weren't any fatalities. We thank God. But what's the extent of the injuries suffered by, those who got affected?
Yeah, I think there were about 14 of the people that sustained injuries. The head coach, Moses Kofi, our equipment officer, and about 12 of the players. There were various injuries. I think for about 6 of them, the injuries were bad, including the coach, Moses Kofi, who occupied the front seats together with the driver. And then, so immediately we got some good people to help us convey those that had deep cuts to the Japan Municipal Clinic, because that was the closest. And then so about 7 of them were taken there. Another 7 were also taken to the VRA hospital in Ho. And then we managed to convey the rest of the contingent all to these two facilities where everyone was checked. Those that were injured were treated. The rest of us that did not sustain injury still went to checks to be sure that we were okay, at least for the few hours. So at about 2:30 a.m., those that went to Japan were referred to a private facility in Accra. And then early in the morning, the private facility also referred them to the Ga East Municipal Hospital. The rest were all taken to the Ga East Municipal Hospital yesterday for further checks. There are some that, there are 3 of them, about 9 of them that have been declared very fit, no issues. But the rest of the 21, they would go back to the Ga East Hospital for further assessment this morning.
Wow, this is really troubling. Have you heard anything? Has the GFA reached out? Has any member of the football or in football leadership, has anybody reached out to offer support in one form or the other? And Michael, before you answer that, let me just say that for our viewers, those who are watching the stream, there are some videos you can find on our stream of the bus from the crash site. The bus really took a hit. It really took a hit. So our viewers, you can find those images. Apologies, some of the images are a little disturbing. If you don't have the stomach for it, you can decide to ignore. But it's just a warning I'm putting out there. Michael, so back to my question: have you had any messages? Has anybody reached out from football leadership to provide some commiserations and to provide some support?
I think one of our encouragements has been the love shown by the footballing community. When the incident happened, we don't know how it went up because we were focused on attending to the people that were affected. But soon after, we had calls from, almost everyone who mattered as far as our football is concerned. We had calls from the GFA president who spoke to us throughout the night. Vice President.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
Spoke to us. We spoke about 6-7 times even before they could break. They sent the owner of Crystal Palace, Mr. Boateng, who was, he's the closest to the place. So immediately he was called by the Vice President and Mr. Makado to come and assist us. The team we played against, Home Stars, also immediately dispatched the team to the VRA hospital in Akosombo. They also were with us throughout the night. Yesterday we had a delegation from the Ghana Football Association led by ESCO member and chairman for the Greater Accra RFA, Mr. Samuel Abobi Qatar, also visiting the team at the Ga East Municipal Hospital. Gordon, all the clubs in Zone 3, they've been calling, they've been checking on us, encouraging us, clubs in Zone 1. The love of the footballing community has been very, very, very much encouraging. And we want to take the opportunity to extend our gratitude to all of them, the Chief of Staff of Ghana Football, Michael Oseke, the GFA President, the Vice President, Makado, everybody, everyone, Home Stars, the team we played against. In fact, their words of encouragement, prayers are really much appreciated. So I think that the footballing community has shown concern. Even this morning, as early as about 6 a.m., there were some that were calling to follow up and check whether the guys are responding to treatment.
That's wonderful. Just finally, this has happened. I'm sure the original plan would be you play, you go back, you train, you get ready for your next Division 1 game. So I'm sure this has disrupted plans. Have you had any conversation with the GFA in terms of, fixture rescheduling, calendar changes, all of that? Or for now, that's on the back burner until everybody's fine and then you decide on what the way forward is?
Yes. The game is played with regulation. So formally, there were conversations over the phone, and even when Samuel Abobi led delegation from the FA visited us yesterday. But this one, we have formally waiting to inform the Football Association of the incident and also ask that the immediate matches are postponed. That's the FA Cup tie against True Democracy, which was settled for this Saturday, and then also the game week 5 fixture against Great Division. This will allow our players to. We do not expect that everyone will be here before we return to the field, but we need to have some level of recovery, and then also for the players to also psychologically recover from the incident. Because later there were some that even on the day, there was one guy, Nanaya Wamwa, who played every minute in the 4 games we have played, shouting in the bus. Now, even when everything had settled, crying and shouting that he's going back to school, he won't play football again. So, the players have been traumatized, and they would need some form of, apart from the physical recovery, some form of psychological recovery. And yesterday, the PFAB reached out to us through Philip Asawe. They have offered to get some psychologists to help the players recover in that regard. So, we are formally written to the Football Association asking that at least the immediate 2 games are rescheduled so that we can have some 2 weeks for some of them to heal and rejoin the squad. And then for, more importantly, the psychological recovery. That is very, very, very important.
Yeah, I completely agree. Michael, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. It's a difficult time, but you've spoken to us nonetheless. You have our best wishes, commiserations, and we wish you the very best. But before I let you leave, just to get your thoughts on a very separate matter. You were at the GFA Congress when it was announced that there would be the introduction of standard contracts for players and all. You ran a Division 1 side. According to the GFA's dictate or the policy details, Division 1 players are set to earn, is it 700 cedis? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. I just wanted to get your take on this this very interesting idea that the GFA is bringing. I mean, as clubs and all, what do you make? I don't know if you can share an opinion for the clubs, but maybe for you as somebody in management, what do you make of all of this, and what does it place any challenge on clubs to now find finances to fulfill that part of the regulation? Just quick thoughts, and then I let you go.
Yeah, listen, this is a tricky one, but I first of all, there were 2 separate policies. There was a standard player contract policy, and then there was also the minimum wage policy.
Yes. So the contract and the wage, okay.
Yes, the standard player contract policy has been enrolled. It started from this particular season after Congress. The minimum wage policy will start from the 2026-2027 season.
Okay.
However, fortunately for us at Nagod FC, almost all our professional players are paid a little above the minimum wage.
Okay.
So for most of them, in fact, last season was a bit. There were a few of them that were paid below. I mean, there were some that were earning as low as 600 cedis, but most of them were paid above the minimum wage. So we don't have too many issues with this. Even this year, we have reviewed most of the contracts, and most of them are paid way above the minimum wage set by the Football Association. But I think it's a good initiative, because we've seen players that have been exploited. We know that for most of the players that play in our local leagues, the level of education is low, and so for that matter, some managers and administrators exploit them by way of fixing some clauses in the contract that tend to overly favor the clubs rather than the players. Some of them are also, I mean, if you go elsewhere, the players are the key components of the game. They are the key characters. They are the most important characters of the game, and so their welfare is not compromised at all. But in our part of the world, I mean, a lot of the time, administrators tend to turn a blind eye on the welfare of these players. That is not paramount. Other factors are prioritized ahead of the welfare of these players. So I think that this will come into help control some of these things, the exploitation of players during the contract, because now the standards are set. You cannot go beyond certain parameters in the duration of contracts. minimum wage, how the agents and other people must witness for the players and all of that. So I think that it will protect the interest of the players. When our players are happy, they will deliver. Because even in the work we do, we know that motivation is a key factor. We know that welfare is a key factor. When you are okay and you get on air, you are poised to deliver rather than when you have come with a lot of issues in mind. So I think it will help. And then the minimum wage, not the best, we could do better, but there's always a starting point from 700 cedis for Division 1 class. Years to come, maybe after the next Congress, we could improve. But that is also a wake-up call for the FA and for we, the class especially, to ensure that we have more investment in our game by way of sponsorship, by way of partnerships, by way of broadcast rights, generating enough revenue for the game. Now the Division 1 league is on television. But are we making any profits? Are we having any revenue generated for having the matches live on TV and on social media? At this point, it is low. But going into the future, these are things that must improve because all over the world now, even broadcast rights generate far more than sponsorship will give you. So these are areas that we need to work together as a community, as a footballing community, as a football association, to ensure that we improve on our fortunes. Otherwise, some clubs may be crippled by the demands of these new initiatives. And just as we have had in the past, some clubs collapsing along the way, it could happen if we do not have more investment in our game. So in as much as it is good, it will help the players, it will help improve the game, it will help make players remain in our leagues, at least for some time. I do not think that this is what will help curb or deal with the issue of player exodus, but to some extent, because there are players that are living here for Benin, for Togo, for Burkina Faso, for Nigeria, earning as low as $200, $150 per annum. If a player plays in the Ghana Premier League and is earning about 500 cedis, 5,000 cedis, or 3,000, 4,000, I'm not sure that player will be eager to leave our Premier League and go to the league for, let's say, 30,000 CFA a month. So it will help deal with it to some extent, talking about player exodus, but not entirely. But it's a good step. But it also comes with a lot of responsibility. And all of us in the football ecosystem must work so hard to ensure that the game becomes profitable. That is the only way to sustain our clubs and to sustain the game on the local front.
Michael, thank you. Thank you so much. Once again, commiserations. We wish you the very best. And if there are any updates, kindly let us know, so we can share with the wider public.
Okay. Thank you very much for the time.
All right, Michael.
But it's long, so when we recover, we would have to cut up.
Yes, certainly, Michael, certainly. We need to sit and chat. Michael, thank you so much once again. Michael Oduro is CEO of Nagod FC, a Division 1 club. And as you heard from the story I read, this is on Ghana Web's portal. They sourced Ghana Soccer Nets. They were involved in a very serious crash over the weekend. Luckily, there were no fatalities, but some players got injured. And as you heard me say earlier, I did run into some of the players at the hospital. I was wondering what the issue was, but it turns out that it was the crash. We wish them the very best. They will need time to recover, and I'm happy that they've taken that step to officially ask for a postponement of their next 2 games to allow them time to recover. Because there will be physical injuries, psychological as well. You heard Michael Oduro say that one player was saying he didn't want to play football anymore. So it will require some time. I'm sure for a lot of the players, this is the first time they may be experiencing something like this. And from the details that we heard from Michael and from the details we've gathered, it was a bit of a very serious episode. So Nagod FC, we are with you. We wish you the very best. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. If you are listening in, you can send in your thoughts and comments. I would love to hear from you. Also on the menu this morning, the return of the UEFA Champions League is back. Europe's best teams are gathered or will gather. They will gather later tonight and on Wednesday night as well. I'll be telling you the full fixture list for this evening. We'll get into those conversations later. Let's not forget that the Women's Under-17 World Cup is also happening. It's been hosted in Morocco. So for those who didn't know, the Women's Under-17 World Cup is being hosted in Morocco. So far, some very interesting results have played out. I'll be running those results by you in a bit. This is the Sporty Breakfast. It's 10 minutes to 8. Talk about women's football. The Black Queens are, they have two big things ahead of them. One, a bit more immediate than the other. So yesterday there was a press conference that was organized by the GFA to inform everybody that the Black Queens will be playing against England in a friendly. It will be played on the 2nd of December 2025 in Southampton. So that's where the Black Queens will be playing. Now, the more immediate task of the Black Queens is this Thursday. They take on Egypt in the WAFCON qualifier. Okay, they are in Egypt currently prepping for that particular game, and they'll be playing against Egypt in a WAFCON qualifier. Now, the Black Queens are hoping to qualify for the next Women's AFCON, okay? Which will be played in Morocco. No surprises there. It will be played in Morocco. No surprises there. But why is this one more important? Because it holds the ticket to the Women's World Cup in 2027 in Brazil. So that's why the next WAFCON is very important. Very, very important. So the hope is that the Black Queens will make it to the WAFCON and they will finish as part of the semi-finalists and then get to represent Africa in the next Women's World Cup in 2027 in Brazil. So the Black Queens is a very important time, very, very, very important time for them. All of that is happening while the Black Queens have been nominated for the Women's National Team of the Year at the 2025 CAF Awards, okay? So under Kimla's Bjorgren, the team got into the AFCON and then they managed to finish third, okay? Their first medal, since 2016, I think? Yeah, in over a decade, okay? So they managed to get themselves into the conversations in terms of the best women's national teams on the continent. So they are vying for that award, okay? They are vying for that award. They are in contention with Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Morocco, Nigeria's under-17, South Africa, Tanzania, and Zambia. So 10 countries on the original nominees list for National Team of the Year. So I guess this number will be cut down to about 5 or so in terms of the main award. We hope that the Black Queens will make it into the shortlist. But look, even if they don't, it's been a very good 2025 for the Black Queens. As Abigail Sanders also said earlier, who imagined that by October we would be here? At the start of the year, the story surrounding the Black Queens was a very bleak story. We're not sure what it is the Black Queens would achieve in the year. We're not sure what it is they were going to do. Nora Hutla had left. the team had qualified for the WAFCON, but we didn't know how they were going to handle it. And then the GFA announced the appointment of Kim Las Bjorgren, who himself was unknown to us, but I guess in the wider women's football ecosystem, some people may have heard of him. He came in, had to work with the players, managed to put together a good run in the WAFCON, started with a loss, but they pushed on and pushed on and pushed on and got themselves into a bronze medal place at the end of that tournament. So that's the story of the Black Queens in 2025. All right, I promised giving you results from the Women's Under-17 World Cup, which is being played in Morocco. So let me give you the results, right? So far, Nigeria 1, Canada 4, Spain 4, Colombia 0, Zambia 1, Paraguay 2, France 4, Samoa 2, Japan 3, New Zealand 0, South Korea 1, Cote d'Ivoire 1, Cameroon 3, the Netherlands 4, North Korea 2, Mexico 0. Now, for those who know North Korea, at this level, they are really good. They actually won the very first Women's Under-17 World Cup in 2008. So, North Korea really good at this level. USA 3, Ecuador 0, China 5, Norway 0, Italy 3, Costa Rica 0, and Morocco 0, Brazil 3. Morocco 0, Brazil 3. If you have a look at the fixtures, there will be fixtures today. North Korea taking on Cameroon 1 p.m. The 4 p.m. batch of matches, Costa Rica taking on Brazil, and the USA facing China. Interesting, the USA facing China. And then at 7 p.m., Morocco will take on Italy. The Netherlands are up against Mexico. Norway face Ecuador. Spain face... Okay, so Norway versus Ecuador. That's the last game of the day. It's happening at 7 p.m. Norway taking on Ecuador.
This is Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
Now, when you look at the Group A, for example, there's Italy and Brazil. They have 3 points. Costa Rica and Morocco have 0 with a goal difference of -3. Group B, North Korea 3 points, Netherlands 3 points, Cameroon and Mexico no points at all. If you go to Group C, China and USA both on 3 points, Ecuador 0, Norway 0. If you go to Group D, Canada and France both on 3 points, Samoa and Nigeria all on 0. If you go to Group E, Spain 3 points, South Korea 1 point, Cote d'Ivoire 1 point, Colombia no points. And if you go to Group F, Japan 3 points, Paraguay 3 points, Zambia and New Zealand on 0. So that's the story from the FIFA Under-17. FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup is currently being hosted in Morocco. So Morocco are really on a high, really on a high. They are hosting everything, and now they are freshly minted Under-20 World Cup winners. Wonderful time for Moroccan football. At the AFCON, which will be played at the end of the year, they would want to win. I guess winning the AFCON ties everything together, right? Winning the AFCON ties everything together. You can send in your thoughts and comments 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. My name is Nathan Kwao. I guess people are wondering where Raymond Yamado is. Well, he's around. He'll be back soon. He's disappeared into the atmosphere, but he'll be back soon. 7:59. We'll take a spot of music. When we come back, we'll be getting into other things. Of course, we will see if we can get some thoughts from the FA. We'll see if we can get some people to speak to us on the introduction of the new minimum wage for players in the Ghanaian football ecosystem. Okay, so the GFA has announced the minimum wage for Premier League Division 1 and Women's Premier League players. We'll be getting into that. I'd love to find out a bit more. Okay, I'd love to find out a bit more on that, what it will mean, what it will mean going forward, right? What it will mean going forward. It will be fully implemented in the 2026-2027 football season in Ghana. But even ahead of that, I'd really like to know what the clubs make of this decision, what the clubs make of this move, and how they plan to tackle this, because this is a new line of expense. It's a new line on the budget. So we'll have to find out if they have the muscle to do all of these things that the GFA is asking them to do. And then we'll talk some Champions League, because the Champions League is back. It's back tonight and Wednesday night. So we'll preview a lot of the games that will happen this evening and all of that. And then if we do have the time, we'll see if we can get to speak to our friends on Ball Laptop. Why? Because the NBA season tips off tonight. Okay? We would like to get their thoughts on what to look out for in the coming season. A minute after 8, this is the Sporty Breakfast. Let's take a spot of music. When we come back, we get into some wonderful conversations. If anything is on your mind in a sporting sense, you can send in your thoughts. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Let's take some music. When we come back, we dive into other things on the show. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Sporty 106.1 FM in Accra, 91.3 FM in Kumasi, and 102.5 FM in Takoradi. Sporty, the voice of sport.
You are born to be great.
Bibiani Gold Stars is their interim after they got rid of Frimpong Manso. And so this is what Nanaya Amankwa had to say after Gold Stars beat Pando Hearts of Lions by 3-1.
First half, early 15 minutes, Hearts of Lions were up. They missed a lot of chances, but we came in and we dominated the game. That's why we are able to score 3. Tactically, they are indisciplined when we are playing, and we need to remind them to do the right thing. That is what I normally tell them. There's a room for improvement. We will still continue working hard, and we know if we do well, we will continue to win that game also.
All right, so those were the thoughts of Nanaya Amankwa, who's the interim head coach of Bibiani Gold Stars. Let's hear from the vanquished Bashir Hayford, and he had this very interesting thing to say concerning the result that his team got. They lost 3-1 on the road at Bibiani.
Well, in the first place, I would say that every Napoleon has got it to Waterloo. We have not been beaten for the 5 matches, and today on somebody's soil they have beaten us. That is football. So that you go and it is going to be a wake-up call for them. After all, some people can also beat us. Because some of the players are now becoming swollen-headed. And then this is what God tells people, that I want to give you a test so that you know that something can happen to you. And it is a good test. We are going back and then we'll go and prepare very well for another 6 months. That is what I've been telling them. If you get your chance, you don't score. And another team, God will also give them the chance. Now, even if you see the first goal, it wasn't any chance. It was a midfield play. They gave a shot, and it was there. Now, look at the chances we squandered. It is football, so I won't talk too much. We'll go to the training grounds, and then we show them the clip, and then we see what we can happen.
So that was Pando Hearts of Lions head coach Bashir Hayford speaking there. Michael Asaibedu is joining us. Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Nathan. I'm good. How about you?
Yes. I'm fine. Thank you so much. Your thoughts on the result. Bibiani Gold Stars, after a run in the league that had seen them not pick up the most desirable of results. Yesterday, they managed to get themselves a 3-1 win. Before that, they had beaten All Blacks, but they had lost twice on the bounce, and then they recovered to get back to winning ways yesterday. What did you make of what you witnessed as Gold Stars beat Hearts of Lions by 3-1?
And Hearts of Lions prior to this game had embarked on a remarkable run. They had held Asante Kotoko and Accra both undefeated sides, goalless, and then in their respective games that they had played, especially at Pando, they had won. So it meant that they were the team to beat, they were the team to catch as regards the Ghana Premier League. So it's quite surprising that they lost by this margin to Bibiani Gold Stars. But also, if you look at the perspective from the Gold Stars' point of view, you would also have to appreciate that the exertions of the CAF Champions League, especially after that long trip to Algeria via Istanbul, when they returned, they played a stretch of away games which did not really go down well for them as regards their fatigue levels. If you dig deep into the archives and look at the games that they played, after playing away against JSK, they traveled to Swedro. Then they had to travel to Asante Kotoko in Kumasi. They traveled to Tema to face Vision FC. So you look at all these journeys, there are 3 games after the Champions League were away fixtures and in different regions. Swedro in the central region, then you have to travel again on road, by road, straight to Kumasi, Ashanti region. Then you also have to make another journey, not less than 4-hour journey to Tema to face Vision FC. This would definitely affect the team. And they played these games in the space of 3 days and 4 days. So they barely had rest. Unlike the opponents that they faced, Vision FC had a week's rest before they played against Bibiani Gold Stars. If you compare, Gold Stars had just 2 days rest before they played against Vision. Asante Kotoko, the comfort of playing 2 home games. They played Hearts of Lions before the Wednesday they had to face Bibiani Gold Stars. Gold Stars, on that weekend when Kotoko were playing Hearts of Lions, traveled to Swedro to play against All Blacks. And in the space of 3 days, they had to ready themselves to play against Asante Kotoko. So all these things affected them. And I knew that after getting some period of rest, they will be able to be fresh to go against Heart of Lions. And they did really apply themselves very well. And for their coach, their standing coach, Nanaya Amankwa, you look at how he selected his team, decided to go for the experience of Vincent Tatinga at the heart of defense, partnering Gideon Anaba, which gave them that kind of solidity. So you have the youthful exuberance blended with the experience. Then Edward Ajman and Philip Ofori catered for the flanks. In middle, Richard Amonkote came in, Emmanuel Kontos started, and then Justice Atta. Then in attack, now they have a focal man up front for them, and that is Razak Sanu, the Burkinabe. He is that tall, lanky figure, and always a presence that the opponent's defender really has to deal with. And it becomes a big issue. So I think he gave Ebenezer Aban and then Ruben Hennessy a lot of worry in the game. For those who watched it on TV3 and then the other platforms, you know that Razak Sanu's presence alone, especially from the aerial duels, he gave Ruben Hennessy and then Ebenezer Aban a tough fight. Then you have Samuel Atakumi on the left flank and then Berima Ba on the right. And the two interchange positions as and when. These are forward-thinking players. They are wing attackers who love to invert. And then they create options for their left backs and their full backs to also get an opportunity to float in the crosses. And that is where Razak Sanu comes in again. So it was a game that was free-flowing for BBN Gold Stars. And I knew that after resting for quite some time, they would have enough energy to have a go at Heart of Lions. But it's surprising the way and manner Heart of Lions let loose. Yes, the third goal came from the penalty spot, but it all feeds into the narrative I explained earlier, that it was the pressure being mounted on them. And then Ishmelado and then Eche Dogli, the two brilliant midfielders for Heart of Lions, they did not really have a good day. I think they really had a tough time. And it was not surprising that for someone like Ishmelado, he had to be withdrawn from the game in the second half so that the coaches can make changes. So clearly, I think it was a game that Gold Stars dominated and deserved to win. But before the game, if anybody had predicted that they were going to win 3-1 against Heart of Lions, I would have been very, very surprised. So that is what makes the whole scoreline very surprising. But a very good win for Gold Stars. It emboldens their belief and builds their confidence as they they keep on that ambition to defend the title they won last season. So good results for Heart of Lions. They will need to pick themselves up. I was listening to Bashir Eford, and he said every Napoleon has his Waterloo.
Yeah.
Will always give you those very, very press conferences, whether it's a pre-match or post-match. It gives you something that you really need to think about. Yes, Heart of Lions were a formidable force, and I saw how Asante Kotoko struggled to hold their own against them. The game against Accra House of Folk, it is what led most House of Folk fans to start talking about Didi Dramani's win as it was something that was unimpressive, but it was how good Heart of Lions was. But in as much as they also have been one of the teams to beat this season, I think definitely this game was one that they did not really turn out well. They did not really show up to the party, and Gold Stars capitalized on that. But it does not demean anything that Heart of Lions have done so far in the campaign. I am hoping that they will go back to the drawing board where contents that really did not go well in the game against Gold Stars and bounce back stronger. They are a better side, and I expect them to bounce back after this defeat.
For Gold Stars, Michael, do you think this could be the start of a run for them? You did highlight the challenges they faced in terms of physical exertion, having to play in Nigeria and all of those things. They've come back, they've picked up a point. Do you think it could be the start of good things, or because they got involved in the CAF Champions League, it will take them a little time to find a good rhythm and then see if they can defend their title ultimately?
Well, a number of events confront them. The mental pressure in dealing with failure to qualify beyond where they expected to get to as regards the CAF Champions League. They will need to overcome that mental barrier. There is this psychological thing that they will need to deal with. So that is one side. The issue of fatigue, I think they've managed it properly. And I want to believe is a reason they decided to go heavy in terms of the recruitments, the additions to their already existing squad. They brought in quite a number of players, and I feel the squad available to Nanaya Amankwa, whoever comes on board as their head coach, who really play a role in him rotating and still getting the results. For instance, Amon Kote has not necessarily been starting a lot of games for them this season, but when he got the opportunity to step in, he did deliver. And you know what they call him? They call him Kote Gallon, because he has a lot in his tank, full of energy. So clearly, if he's not starting, there are other players to also step in. Francis Chene had to start off the bench yesterday. So they have options. It allows for rotations. And I believe that...
Sporty FM.
Okay, Michael, I think you've muted yourself accidentally, if you can hear me. No, I can't seem to hear Michael. Anyway, this is still the Sporty Breakfast. We'll bring Michael back in a bit. 822, your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061, 054-257-1061. You can also, I don't know what you want to react to. Is it the Ghana Premier League? Is it Black Queens? The Champions League is back. We'll talk a bit about the Champions League. I'll be telling you a lot more about the fixture list for tonight. We'll see if we can take some calls a little later. And for the basketball fans, NBA season tips off tonight. We'll see who amongst the Ball Up top team we can speak to give us a very interesting preview ahead of the new season and ahead of tonight's tip-off. It's Thunder taking on Rockets on opening night. Thunder taking on Rockets on on opening night. And usually opening night in the NBA is ring night as well. That's where the rings get to be handed out in terms of those who won the title the season before. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. You're listening to 106.1. We are the voice of sport. My name is Nathan Kwao, and the show is rolling on. As I said, your comments are welcome on 054-257-1061. Michael Asaibuedu is back. Michael, I think you were making a point. You were talking about...
Yep, apologies for the earlier hit.
Yes, so you're talking about Kote Gallon and his large tank.
He has a lot of energy in his tank, and he gives you that kind of vibe you expect from combative midfielders, and he helps to bring everything to this BBN Gold Stars team. And without him, there are other players, including Francis Chene, Apia McCarthy, who can come on and also do their bit in the middle. So I think it all fits into how Gold Stars went into the market, added a lot of players to their squad to allow them to rotate and not really feel the brunt of playing in competitions like the CAF Champions League and also competing for the domestic trophies, i.e. the FA Cup and then the Premier League. So it is good for them that they are out of the CAF Champions League, albeit disappointing that they did not make it to where they expected to get to. But I still think their large squad size should be enough to make them handle the rotations as and when it comes, when they have to compete in the Premier League and now the FA Cup. Then in attack too, they brought in two attackers, Samson Eduku, Razak Sanu. It gives them variety. Razak Sanu gives you that aerial presence. Samson Eduku gives you that ball playing feel you expect from a center forward. So I think they have a healthy squad to cope with the pressures of what comes with it. But how they failed to cope with that trip to Algeria and then bouncing back, it had to do with the running, the games that they had to play, and then the number of days that they had to rest. I think it was a bit difficult. Maybe if they had like 2 home games in that stretch, 2 home games and 1 away game, they would have managed that well. But they had 3 away games, Swedro, Kumase, Tema, and that would not be pleasant for any team, whether they play in Africa or they do not play in Africa. So I think after having this rest and having to reset on Thursday, they play against Brekum Chelsea, and that will be a home game. BBN Gold Stars should be able to continue from there. But one thing I think will be their major issue so far will be the coaching decision. Whether Nanea Amankwa continues in his role as the interim boss or they appoint a new coach. And it all comes with whether the pros and the cons, whether it works or it does not work. Masoedu was rumored to be joining. Personally, he introduced himself to the squad prior to their second leg encounter against JSK. But unfortunately, due to some 1 or 2 issues behind the scenes, it has not materialized, and he's no longer taking charge of the side. Now, when this happens, it throws the players into a state of disarray. They are confused. They don't know what is going to happen. They don't know who is coming, and it kinds of affect how they apply themselves in training and also in matches. So I think the sooner Gold Stars sort that issue out, the better it will be for them as regards their chances of trying to win a trophy, whether they defend the league title or they win the FA Cup. But I still think they have a very good squad to compete favorably in the two domestic competitions, especially after exiting Africa. So yeah, I expect that after this win against Heart of Lions, it will bring the necessary confidence and the necessary belief for them to push to try and achieve domestic excellence.
Well, Gold Stars getting that win over Pando Heart of Lions. Wonderful stuff. Michael, hold the line for me. Let me speak with GM or General Manager of Accra Great Olympics. The other bit about local football I wanted us to talk about was the player standard contract and the GFA's decision to introduce a minimum wage. Of course, that is ahead of next season. But currently, we do know that the player standard contract is in effect. Let me take the thoughts of General Manager of Accra Great Olympics, Eric Alagidede. He's joining us on the line. We'll see what he makes of it, and we'll talk a bit about the minimum wage and other matters should they pop up. Eric, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Morning, Nathan. I'm very well. I hope you guys are doing good in the studio.
Yes, we are very fine. Thank you. I want your thoughts on the player standard contract. It was one of the things mentioned at the last GFA Congress. This was sometime in August. As part of the Football Republic, you were there and you know this. So first of all, the standard contract, what's the latest or your thoughts on that? I'm sure it's currently been implemented. Great Olympics are not an exception to the rule. So how is that coming along? How is it working? How does it work to those who don't understand? And how have you been implementing it in your line of work with the playing body?
Thank you very much, Nathan. I think what the FA introduced is nothing new from what most of the clubs, let me say about 90% of the clubs, were already doing in terms of standard player contracts. Actually, I can tell you on authority that having worked at the Premier League level before coming down to Great Olympics and Division 1, most of the clubs in the Premier League level were clubs who were paying way above the national minimum wage. And so if there's a contract that says that nobody should be able to pay below the national minimum wage. Currently, what's the national minimum wage? Let's do some mathematics over here. What's the current national minimum wage? Most players at the Premier League level are earning signing on fees. They are earning salaries of not less than 2,000 Ghana cedis a month. They are earning winning bonuses. They are on free accommodation. They are not paying utilities, i.e. electricity and water. Put all these together, the average Ghanaian footballer in the Ghana Premier League earns not less than 4,000 and above in a month. Averagely, there are clubs who are even paying way much above what we are talking about. The Hearts, the Protocols, Piana, Mediama, and the likes. Too many of them. So I think it was just proper because some few clubs who are in that 10% bracket were actually taking advantage of the situation and were not paying the boys properly and we're not taking good care of players. And so it was important for the FA as the body that runs our football for them to implement the national minimum wage structure and put it into our standard contract. So for me, I think it's a good step. It's something that will help bring some sanity because there are some few clubs, there are very few in the system who make it look so bad that people go to sit on radio and they actually talk as if it's all the clubs who go along that line. But I can tell you, a lot of the Ghana Premier League clubs players are earning better salaries than people who sit at the counter in the banking court. And these are facts. And so I think that coming down to the Division 1 league level where I have joined, I must admit that some of the salaries are really bad. Yeah, if you talk to some of the players, you realize that some of the salaries are really bad, and some of them are not even paying at all. And so it was it's the best thing that I mean, the FA could do, that is to implement the national minimum wage. And so if you have players to put them on contracts and at the end of the day you are not paying, then of course the law would have to deal with it.
But Eric, you speak about the picture in Division 1. We do know that ahead of next season, for example, the GFA has already outlined what or the minimum salaries should be for Division 1 league players. 700 cedis, Women's Premier League 700 cedis, Ghana Premier League 1,500, that's a minimum. And you say that a lot of the Ghana Premier League clubs are already paying way above this. That's great. But for Division 1, when you just look around, just studying the terrain in, the time that you've been there, do you think a lot of the clubs will be able to shoulder this burden of having to pay the players a minimum of 700 cedis? Are they in a position to do so? Will they need any help for them to meet this minimum requirement as stated by the GFA?
Nathan, they should. If you currently look at the economy that we operate within, every Division 1 league club should. And I have this, I'm of the opinion that if you cannot pay 700 Ghana cedis a month as a minimum, then you have no business running a Division 1 league club. It's as simple as ABC. Listen, these are people who work for you. They run for 90 minutes. Some of these guys sustain injuries that they never even return back to continue their careers. And so how much is 700 cedis? Yes, we agree that there isn't money in our game. Honestly speaking, this brings us to the conversation that, well, do we need 48 Division 1 league clubs? I think this is a conversation that we should be having. Some of the clubs have no business running in Division 1 because, honestly, you don't know what they are looking for playing in the Division 1 league. And I have argued that we need to have non-competitive league clubs so that there is no relegation and there is no promotion over there. You can use that as your business entity if you want to do selling of players, tonaton and that kind of stuff. You should belong to that category and allow those who want to really do promotion and all that to come and contest for those slots and all that. So we really need to look at how our game needs to be structured. And I'm of the view that we need to start looking at non-competitive clubs. And I think when we start looking at it from that angle, it will reduce the burden of everybody trying to play in the Division 1 league, trying to play in the Premier League. There are some Premier League clubs until 1 million was injected into the clubs this season by the sub productions and in conjunction with the Ghana Football Association. Trust me, some of them really struggle to pay salaries last season. If you cannot do a joint venture and you don't have the funds to run a Premier League club, then don't start. Don't even fight for promotion. The same with the Division 1 league. Don't. Because it's very difficult. And later, Zone 3 is much better where I work.
Yeah.
You can actually look at all the games and do a round trip the whole day. So you are going to play a game. There is no need for you to sleep. Now, if you look at the fixtures of Kwahu, who used to play in Koforidua, are currently playing in Carinders. There are only two teams now in the Eastern region, which is Golden Warriors and Fort City. Then there are two teams in the Volta region, which is Home Stars and Wafa or Sogakope. These are the teams that are far from Accra. All the other teams are practically based in Accra, so you can wake up in the morning, go play your game and return. If you take a zone like Zone 2, where someone would have to travel, let's say, for instance, Cape Faisal are playing Sefi All Stars. They'll have to travel from Kumasi all the way to Sefi. That's a long journey. If I run Cape Faisal, I wouldn't want to travel with my team same day to play a game and return. It's practically impossible. If you look at Police National, who use the Super Park, they would have to travel to Fish to go and play a Division 1 league match. They have to travel to Kappa. So the distance in Zone 2 is very far. And so if you put all these things together, the expenses of having to keep a team in a hotel, for them to sleep, eat, wake up and play a game and return, fuel, and all that, it's really huge. And so if you cannot afford to pay 700 cities, I think it will be proper for some of our club owners to begin to understand that even the clubs in Division 2 are actually selling players. So you can stay in your lane in Division 2 and prepare players and go and sell and make some money than to put players in a condition where they are not sleeping well, they are not eating well, they are not traveling properly, use sprinter and put these players in these dangerous roads, on these dangerous roads and travel for such long distances. I think we should begin to have this conversation. And clubs who don't have the means, I think they should start dropping off and allow those who have the resources to participate in Division 1 league. This is my opinion.
I mean, I find the argument really interesting when you talk about streamlining Division 1 and cutting off some of these clubs who cannot make the cut. You talk about a non-competitive division. How would that work? I mean, in your mind, how do you think that division should operate, and which clubs should we put in that non-competitive bracket or division, as you call it?
When I say non-competitive, I am not in any way saying the games that they play should not be competitive, but it should be a league. Maybe I need to find a better word for it. It should be a league that does not involve promotion and demotion.
Okay.
See, this is what makes our leagues very, very, very competitive, to the point that people are ready to do anything in the name of 3 points.
Okay.
When you play in a league, and you know very well that at the end of the season, like the MLS, let's say in a franchise league where the MLS, you know that at the end of the season, no one gets relegated. And eventually a champion can be declared, but no one gets relegated. If they feel that you meet the criteria, they can add you to the league. We should have those kind of leagues. You know, there are clubs whose primary business to just groom players and go and sell them. They are not interested in all these Division 1 and our Premier League clubs.
Yeah.
They are not interested. Yeah, even though they may have the resources, they are just not interested in playing at that level. So we should begin to have a conversation that we can have such clubs, streamline them. See, some of them are playing in Division 2 in the Greater Accra Division 2 League. But if you have those clubs streamlined, some of them will willingly join because they don't really play in the Division 2 League to get promotion to come to Division 1. And they are all over. They are all over. I'm sure, given the opportunity, a lot of Division 1 league clubs will join that category. So we should create that kind of league where these clubs will begin to play there among themselves. They play weekly games to keep their players active and competitive. But at the end of the day, there is no promotion, there is no demotion there. So you really see that the pressure there isn't much to force people to do things. When we begin to do these things, we will cut down a lot on referee bribery, and there are too many scandals that we need to cut off with the introduction of such leagues. And I'm sure it will go a long way to sanitize our system.
Finally, Eric, so in terms of the quote-unquote punishments, or what should happen to teams, and maybe we can, leave it at Division 1 teams, because that's your area of work. Should there, what kind of punishment, let me put it this way, what kind of punishment should be handed out, for example, to clubs who cannot afford to pay the minimum of 700 cedis, or some people, or do you think that there should be a stress test to see which clubs can pay, and then you admit them into the league? And if we are not sure that the club cannot pay, we don't allow them to play, or we should allow the league to run, and then we start to see those who are financially incapable of meeting that minimum requirement?
It's one of the areas we have failed very badly as industry players. The area of club licensing, we have limited our club licensing regime to inspection of pitches and venues where games are played. But if you read the club licensing document, it entails so much, including financials.
Yeah.
Do you know what the clubs do? A lot of them just take their old financial statements, go and print the front cover, change the back cover, and present it. So no proper scrutiny is being done to clubs' finances. So I think that when we begin to look at it properly, if we want to really implement this and implement it well, then we need to start looking at the financial structure of clubs. How much do they have? There should be, in my opinion, there should be a minimum amount of money every Division 1 league club should have in their accounts. And elsewhere, we've seen clubs go into administration.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, we've seen clubs clubs being demoted because financially they don't have what it takes to continue to stay where they are. Why can't we implement same here? It should be done, because if you don't have the funds, why do you bring people's children to come and starve them? Starve them. Who plays football with hunger? Nobody. So, in my opinion, we need to start looking at some of these things. Beginning of the season, present a bank account. Look, like it's done in the betting industry. What I know is that you go and present your financial statements to the Bank of Ghana, and then Bank of Ghana will make sure you have a minimum of $2.5 million in your account, so that nobody wins a bet and Sporty comes and says, we don't have the money. They already have that money sitting at the Bank of Ghana. So let every club present a statement of account. Okay, you are running a Division 1 league club. When we quantify 700 cities a month, add some 300 cities bonus to it, let's say per game. At the end of the month, we know that, okay, you need a minimum of 2.5 million cities to run. If you don't have that 2.5 million cities in your account before the start of the season, then you don't deserve to play in the Division 1 league. I'm sure when we start doing some of these things, we can cut down the numbers and get to know the clubs which have financial without to be able to play in the league or not. Let's not wait and then start the season, and then in the course of the season, we are told that, oh, Club A has not paid their players in the last 3-4 months, in the last 5 months. Their players have not been paid. In any case, if you fail to pay a player for 3 months, the player automatically can file for floating and go away as a free player. That is what the law says. Okay. So I think if we avoid some of these things by checking from the onset, we'll be good to go.
Eric, thank you. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Very interesting suggestions and ideas you've put on the table. Thank you so much, Eric. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak soon.
Okay, later.
All right. Thank you. That was Eric Alagide, the General Manager of Accra Great Olympics, sharing his thoughts on this. Now, why are we on this tangent? Well, the GFA has announced this. I think it was on the Facebook page of the GFA president. Immortal, it was on the Facebook page of the GFA president yesterday or a few days ago. Okay. And it says that, or the post said, the GFA has announced the introduction of minimum monthly salaries for pro players in the Ghana Premier League, Division 1 League, and Women's Premier League. This major policy shift forms part of ongoing efforts by the GFA to enhance the conditions of service for players and professionalize the domestic league. And it also follows the signing of an MOU with the PFAG ahead of the association's last Congress. Well, the last Congress was in August. Now, a key outcome of that collaboration was the adoption of a standard contract template for professional players, which has already been rolled out amongst or across Premier League clubs. Building on this foundation, the GFA engaged clubs to deliberate on the introduction of minimum salaries, resulting in the following agreements. So, one, the Ghana Premier League's minimum salary will be 1,500 cedis. Division 1 League minimum salary will be 700 cedis. Women's Premier League minimum salary will also be 700 cedis. And the new figures will apply to all contracts signed during the next registration window. For players already under contract, the minimum salaries will take effect at the start of the 2026-2027 league season. So that's what caught our attention. That's why I've just been sampling opinions of those in the Football Republic to see what they make of all of this. Earlier you heard Michael Odro saying that, look, he thinks it's a good thing. He thinks that we need to ensure that players are taken care of well. Player welfare is paramount. And then Eric Alagide, who's the general manager of Accra Great Olympics, has also spoken that clubs, we have to base our admission of clubs into a season by some of these things. If a club cannot show that it has the money to pay players, it should not be giving a license to operate in the coming season. And then you weed out all these clubs and leave the system very clean and very sanitized for clubs who have what it takes to keep players on their payroll. Michael Azarbedo is still on. Michael, I'm sure you are following the conversation. I don't know if you have any thoughts on this standard player contract, minimum wages, and how all of this can feed into making local football better than it is.
Well, I think Eric makes the point so much very clear from his point of view. And he's better placed to speak to some of these issues. Not forgetting his previous job before joining Great Olympics was with his Shaman in the Ghana Premier League. He's worked with Karela, has dealt with a lot of players and then contracts. If you do a study on the number of cases that the Player Status Committee of the Ghana Football Association handles in a year alone, then you would come to appreciate the fact that there are a lot of legal disputes between employers and employees, in this case, clubs and players, regarding contract breaches and a whole lot. So I think it is only fair that the FA taps into what is happening globally through FIFA, trying to drive through the standardization of the player standard contract agreement, and then making sure that it will lessen or lower the degree of the dispute that arises between players and clubs regarding this. Now, oftentimes when you speak to this, the indication that anybody gets is that, oh, then it is coming to help players and it's not going to favor clubs. But I think it balances the whole equation. For clubs, they are given what they need to do to make sure that they keep abreast with the modern standards and then the professional standards. For players, it also makes them aware of the guarantees that are on offer for them whenever there is a breach of contract, and also what they are likely to suffer in the event that they themselves breach the contracts that they do sign. So I think it will address the issues on both sides, and it will cater for a lot of the anomalies in the system. There are a couple of clubs who do well as regards paying players promptly, paying them above even the minimum wage as per Ghana. But the issue is that a chunk of these clubs don't follow such. And it is often sad when you hear players speak to their plight, what they go through at the various levels. So one, I believe that this initiative, which the FA's ESCO approved like 3 months ago, as you rightly said, and has been also approved by Congress, and then it will be in effect from next year. If it comes into being, what it does is that, one, the terms of employment. I have had the opportunity to have a look at some contracts that clubs have given to players. And I will not want to mention clubs, I will not want to mention players. But there are some documents, when you read thoroughly, it gives you the impression that it is either the club wants to take the player for granted and they feel the player will not even know the various windows of opportunities or the loopholes that they've stated in the contract, which it is not really explicit to the player. The player does not really understand. Now, when you explain some of these things to them, then they are left marveling. They are like, wow. So then they would have to take the right steps. And so I think, yes, it will spell out clearly the terms of employment so that nothing is hidden. They will be clear as to what is expected of them and what also the responsibilities of both parties are. So if you understand your terms of employment, if you are given the specifics as to the start date, whatever, then a player knows that the moment he fails to show up at training for this period, it is likely that he will suffer these consequences. And all these must be stated explicitly in the terms of employment as part of the contract. So the player becomes aware. I can cite an example for you. There is a player at Nations FC. I'll not mention a name. His teammates know him. People who are close to the club know him. He was once upon a time captain of.
Hello, Michael. Okay, we'll see if we can reconnect. With Michael. It's 10 minutes to 9. This is the Sporty Breakfast. We'll reconnect with Michael and continue the conversation. If you have any thoughts, you can send us a WhatsApp message 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. What do you make of this plan by the GFA to implement a minimum wage ahead of next season, right, for players? So 1,500 minimum for Ghana Premier League players, 700 cedis minimum for players in the Women's Premier League and the Division 1 League, as decided by the GFA's Congress, which was held in August. Let me know what you think of all of this. Are you in favor? Is this something that can work? Why will it work? Why won't it work in Ghana? How do we ensure that it will work? Let me know your comments. 054-257-1061. We'll also talk about the UEFA Champions League in a bit. It returns tonight it returns tonight. There are some very interesting games that will be played this evening. A little later on, should we get the opportunity, we'll talk a bit about the NBA. Tip-off is tonight, 11:30 p.m. And then we'll have a quick interview with a Ghanaian F1 prospect, Louis Appiagyei. He currently competes in the BP Pro Series, which is an endurance karting championship. And we'll see if we can get to speak with him. He has ambitions of competing in the F1 one day. And should it work out, we should have a son of the land competing at the highest level in the F1 Grand Prix, or on the F1 Grand Prix circuit. We'll have a chat with him a little later. Now, with Free After One Extra, you can talk for 1 whole hour uninterrupted while paying for only the first minute of every 10 minutes you talk, which means for every 10 minutes you talk within the hour, you only pay for the first minute and you get to talk for 60 minutes straight with no interruptions. What is more, you also get 100 MB of data for free after your first call on Saturday. So now is the time to talk extra. Call your boys, call your girls, and chit-chat. To subscribe to MTN Free After One Extra today, just dial *550# and follow the prompts. Now, this December, change your routine, right? You go to the parties, jams, and everything. This December, pack up and let's go to Morocco. Let's go and watch the AFCON. Yes, the Black Stars may not be there, but you can still go to Morocco and enjoy watching the AFCON. You can watch Nigeria, you can watch Cote d'Ivoire, you can watch a lot of the other teams. Dunia Safari and Sporty FM want to take you to Morocco, and they want to ensure that you have a good time there. Now, what I need you to do is use the Sporty FM promo code SportyFan25 when booking to unlock a special 20% discount for a minimum of 3 people booking. Yeah, just use the Sporty FM promo code SportyFan25, SportyFan25, SportyFan25 to unlock a special 20% discount for a minimum of 3 people booking. Don't just hear it on Sporty FM. See the game live in Morocco. Limited spots are available. Visit duniasafari.com or call 053 808 7709, 053 808 7709, or send an email travelduniasafari@gmail.com, travelduniasafari@gmail.com. Follow them on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok at Travel Dunia Safari. And don't forget to book using the Sporty FM promo code SportyFan25. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. All right, let me run the Champions League fixtures that will be played today by everybody, and then we'll open the phone lines, right? And then we can do some other things. Tonight, Barcelona at home to Olympiacos. That game is at 4:45. Kairat Almaty also at home to Paphos. The debutants are meeting each other also at 4:45. At 7 p.m., Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid. Bayer Leverkusen versus PSG. Ousmane Dembele, according to some reports, he could be back this evening. FC Copenhagen taking on Dortmund. Newcastle hosts Benfica. PSV take on Napoli. Royal Union Saint-Gilloise face Inter Milan. And Villarreal are at home to Manchester City. Barcelona versus Olympiacos, that's at 4:45. Kairat versus Paphos, also at 4:45. Arsenal taking on Atletico Madrid. Bayer Leverkusen facing PSG. FC Copenhagen taking on Dortmund. Newcastle at home to Benfica. PSV take on Napoli. Royal Union Saint-Gilloise face Inter Milan. and Villarreal with Ghana's Thomas Partey will be at home to Manchester City. All right, it's 8:56. I want you to give me a call. Give me a call. I want you to call and give me Champions League predictions, right? I want you to give me Champions League predictions for this evening, right? Let's see if people can get in touch with their inner octopus pulse and their inner predictive powers. I want you to give me a call. Call and give me a Champions League prediction, right? Barcelona versus Olympiacos, Kairat versus Almaty, Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen versus PSG, Copenhagen, FC Copenhagen of Denmark taking on Dortmund, Newcastle at home to Benfica, PSV take on Napoli, Royal Union Saint-Gilloise take on Inter Milan, and Villarreal, they welcome Manchester City to their home ground, their Stadio Ceramica. All right, so I want you to call, and I'm sure you want to talk about the Champions League. 8:57. Let me take this call. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Your boy Pikin inside Castle.
All right, please go ahead.
When I went okay, feel the pool here. I'm a real chon. I'm a real baba. I'm a real chon. I'm a real chon. Yeah. Touching on with the UEFA Champions League. I think Barca will win their match. Maybe like over like 5.5. Yeah, about the match. About the match. Because of when Kameti work. Yeah, and you stay in the class. Yes, but the corner about it to 8:07. Okay, you are done.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you so much. 8:58. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Give me a call. The Champions League returns tonight. I want you to call and give me a prediction. If you want to talk about any other thing, wonderful. Remember that the NBA also tips off tonight. It's the Thunder at home to the Houston Rockets. And tonight is ring night. Tonight is when the rings are handed out to the OKC Thunder players. So they'll go and keep them in their, in their things. So you can give me a call, 054-257-1061. Or you can call the other number, 030-279-4805. 030-279-4805. You can also send us a WhatsApp message, 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. Let me take this caller. Hello.
Hello, Nathan. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
I think, Nathan, now I think that
Sorry?
to better a little bit by bit.
Sorry?
I'm very happy. I think the Ghana Premier League is coming to better and better by bit.
Okay. You haven't told us your name and where you are calling from.
I'm calling from.
Hello, your line is not clear. Hello? Aye. Hello? Okay, all right. 8:59. This is still the Sporty Breakfast. Give me a call. 054-257-1061. You can also call the other number, 030-279-4805. You can equally send us a WhatsApp message on 054-257-1061. Let me take this caller. Hello?
Hello, Nathan.
Yes.
Yes, this is Kevin, as you know. The other line.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, I think that Ghana Premier League is taking shape, but there is still a lot of work that we need to do. If I'm using the word we, we shouldn't even leave it only for the GFA. The government must, take a very bold step of trying to let some of the, government-owned companies come and support some of the teams. When you qualify, I remember I grew up in Tema. We had Dumas, we had Idapua, and so on. And these teams, they were doing very well. And when the Premier League is doing well, it actually helps our national teams. And that is what we need to do. I heard the interview with Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he comes on, tell him that this is Kevin, the guy. When he was, is it 99 or so, he was working at Fashionable with Mr. Chu,
mm-hmm.
and then one man that he was working with. You know, he likes football, and I like this guy. When we were in Fashionable, every time he would be telling me that he's going to watch Ghana Premier League and so on. And, you know, he's growing with it. He needs to keep it up and make sure that the steps that he has taken, he would not sway away from it. Some of them started, but they were carried away by this football people mantra. And then they end up changing and, you know, starting to do the dubious things that those managers used to do. But he should be focused, and I believe that he will be recognized each and very soon. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Let me take some more calls. Hello.
Nathan, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, this is Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, Nathan, you know, what the GFA is doing, Nathan, if in case they can do, Nathan, it will be very nice.
Mm-hmm.
You see, but my issue is, Nathan, they have been bringing a lot of this issue and these things on board, but Nathan, it has not been working. Because I remember we have a club license board, Nathan. If you go to, especially like Brekum, and you go and watch Nathan, their page, Nathan, is very bad. Nathan, if you go and watch Brekum, their page, because I was there last time, Nathan. If you watch, now it's raining, so I can think now there is fine. But Nathan, last season I was there, because I watched Kotoko against Brekum, Nathan. If you watch their page, Nathan, it was very, very poor.
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan, I'm not convinced these things can work, Nathan. Because you see, Nathan, our league, we need autonomous board or autonomous league. Those people who can run the league for us, so that our league can be, because all the things belongs to those GFA people. So that how can some of the laws can work? There's no way, Nathan, this law can work.
But the point is that even if you go and do an autonomous league, the people who will run that autonomous league or the shareholders, they are still the same club people, aren't they?
Yeah,
you understand?
Because yes, I understand. But I was thinking that maybe we can get, you know, like a private people. You understand?
Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
A private people like who can run the league for us. Because if it will be still these people, there's no way it can work. Because we have those people who look at our pitches and say, still our pitches are very, very poor. Still, and sometimes I don't know.
So whose responsibility? Okay, let me ask you a question. So whose job is it to ensure that the pitches look okay? Because okay, fine. I mean, if you mentioned Brekum is where Golden City Park.
Yes, Golden City Park.
So Golden City Park. Okay, so I mean, I guess it's everybody's work. The NSA, the clubs will have to be very interested in what is happening.
But even I think I think now we have those people who work who are working around and and study all the pitches and then our stadia to see that our pitches are okay. But listen, when they go, I don't know if they collect no coffee, because I don't know, because sometimes some of the pitches that they allow them to use the pitches, it's very, very bad.
Okay.
It's very, very, very bad.
So,
all right,
so
thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. So Eric made the same points about club licensing. He says the club licensing regime has to be stronger than it currently is. Okay, well, we'll see. 054-257-1061. If you also want to talk about the Champions League, why not? The Champions League is back tonight. I've gone through the fixtures. I'll read them one more time. But let me take this caller. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
How are you, Kumar?
Michael, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Everything cool.
We're there inside. What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, the other line at the call, they go through my personal line.
Oh, you now your personal line. The corner they go. Hey.
I don't know, sir. I try, I know they go through, but that's make a easy alternative. So that's what I did here.
Okay.
But you say, like, they will increase the wages. For the Ghana Premier League team, the players.
Yeah, the GFA is proposing that from next season the minimum wage should be 1,500 minimum, so you don't pay below 1,500.
Like you will take like 14 for a year.
Oh, why?
I did tell you true. Because less like only 14 for Ghana Premier League inside. Me, I go mention that my main body.
Oh no, but I spoke to one of my very good friends, Eric. Eric is general manager for Great Olympic. He says a lot of the Ghana Premier League clubs can actually pay.
Oh, then sometimes 4 months, 6 months they don't pay.
So he's saying that he says a lot can pay. There are some who cannot pay. That is true. So what you're saying is very true.
I disagree with Eric. Seriously. It's never true. I disagree. Because common 500 city crampo, you they pay like 6 months time. Unless media journalists will come fire until you go pay like 3 months. They say 1,500 city a month. That's a good thing. Oh, like you go that's like 14 spell. Me, I won't mention them, but you don't got you check inside.
If I check inside, I know the 4 teams they go pay 1,500.
Only 14 spell. So Ghana go play only 14 spell. It's serious.
What about what about Division 1? They said Division 1 they should pay a minimum of 700.
Now why? It's not even Alaba. It's not even Alaba. I need to ask what I can say. It's not you. In Tonko, who from about now too.
Sporty FM, the voice of sport.
If they do that, it will help. Because at least the players in the track. That's why this Exodus then play Exodus. They go different countries. You see Ghanaian player, they play for Pakistan, Luxembourg, and fine. Why? Because the money good. But at least if you be here where the money be better smaller, and like say you all outside.
Hello. Yes. The line be okay now.
You see what Tamaleto can do for Fekafort. Come now, we say okay. If the club give the minimum for pay, so they allow the players mature for the league inside before they go outside. That's what I say. Because some players you are above 1 2 seasons, and I think sometimes they go for free. Because the money the team from outside they give them, you never see them before.
Yeah, that one may be true.
I understand. Okay, any country be do we are not fed because of it. They are sometimes country war zone or press of the battery. Understand? It's unka need to meet put this structures in order. Go help, but then you cannot make a 14 spend you. Only 14 spend.
Okay, so into teams now can.
Oh, then that one they cover division 3.
Don't you mean 2,500 Division 3?
Division 3 straight. Because because sometimes 500 CD, 700 CD crampo crown, come. Sometimes they be a net come. And then clubs. I know a particular club before we call relegation. Normally the players come 4 or 5 months. I mean, but don't say so we mean too. Me however, but not talk about it.
When you say,
so once you know what it is, you know. Why not? Once you know this, you know, and Kadabwa, but 14 between. Hey, no can make
14. The more 14 league. And okay, so into Omuntima former now say 1,500 now yeah.
That be uncommon maintain Nanka League into what it is. What football was that a football?
Yes, money, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Miss coming in football. Outside. I'm not putting on it. Not time for a Avengers Madonna. Oh, Chelsea. What of Strasbourg?
Yeah.
Football now from the branch. That bread. About 200 players into transfer back to maybe $5 million. Not cash out big.
Yeah.
But I said, who player 300 CD and no crime. This or the constituents in the Kasa, and I hate the brain so I figure not to go to
That's true. That's true. Michael, thank you. All right, thank you for the call. Let's take one more call, and then we'll proceed. Let's not forget that the Champions League is back. I'll run the fixtures by you one more time today, or one more time this morning. We'll have a chat with an F1 prospect, Louis Appiagyei. We'll be speaking with him in a bit. He'll be joined by Kwabena Poku and one or two other people. 11 minutes after 9, this is the Sporty Breakfast. Let me take one final call for this segment, and then we move the show on. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Hello? Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm Leopold. I'm calling from Kumasi.
Okay, all right. Please go ahead.
I want to ask the Barca is going to be 59 and Man City to maybe to be draw.
Okay, all right. Barcelona to win and Man City to draw, you say?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. No problem. Thank you so much for your call. 12 after 9, this is still the Sporty Breakfast. We'll take one final call, I'm told. My producer says he's feeling very kind this morning, so he'll give us one more call. We'll connect and speak with our team lead, Gary Al Smith. He's somewhere very interesting. He'll tell us where he is, and we'll try and find out what exactly the lowdown is, where he is currently. 054-257-1061, 030-279-4805. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on the number 054-257-1061. This is the Sporty Breakfast. As I said, the UEFA Champions League is back this evening. The UEFA Champions League is back this season. Barcelona at home to Olympiacos. Kairat Almaty face Pafos. Arsenal at home to Atletico Madrid. Bayer Leverkusen take on PSG. FC Copenhagen welcome Dortmund. Newcastle at home to Benfica. PSV take on Napoli. Union Saint-Gilloise travel to Italy to face Inter Milan. And Villarreal will be at home. They welcome Manchester City to the Estadio de la Ceramica. All right, let's go on to the line. Our regional team lead is on. Gary Al Smith is joining us. Gaza, good morning. No, let me put it this way. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Buenos dias.
How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Wonderful. So where in the world are you this morning?
I'm at Vadebeba, as you people say. The Real Madrid training ground.
Wonderful. So you are in the lovely city of Madrid. Real Madrid play tomorrow. They are featuring tomorrow in the Champions League. But how has it been? I mean, ever since you landed, what's been the vibe in the city? Real Madrid take on Juventus in a very classic Champions League tie. How is Madrid in as they get ready for tomorrow night's encounter?
I mean, they say this is the city of football, and they've seen every kind of threat in this city. So Juventus, in this guy, Nathan, is just another opponent. There's nothing special for them. You know, it's not a big game. It's not extra special. It's not the semi-final. It's not the final. It's just another group stage match. And obviously, it's European football royalty, like you said. Two heavyweights who are convening at the Bernabeu tomorrow. They've met a couple of times. If you can call 21 a couple of times. Two of those meetings are historic because they've met twice in the final, with Madrid coming out on top in both times. Remember in '98,
yeah, and
then in 2017, which is the more recent one. So, what do you call it? Right now, I'm currently at the press conference area. We are waiting for two things. We are just setting up for the press conference, which will start after the training. So we are waiting for the team to let us know when the training begins. Then we go there, watch the first 15 minutes. Then we come back for the press conference. Then we can get what Xabi Alonso is going to say, and also what Juventus are going to tell us. But nothing really out of the blue because, as you know, Xabi Alonso, Europa League runner-up with Bayer Leverkusen, is intent on doing one better with Real Madrid, and the way he has started the season suggests that something special may be coming. It's not the best of football, but they are winning. That's the most important vibe that has been getting from here, and everybody is absolutely super thrilled with Mr. KM9. Kylian Mbappe is making people very, very happy here as well. And that's it. I mean, they won that for hosting Juventus with the 1-0 win over the local rivals, Getafe, at the weekend. Obviously, Mbappe plays goal separating the side at El Coliseum. So, nothing much to say, except people are also looking at the Ronaldo factor because he's the common denominator. I've heard a few people say that if he was in the mix, things would have been different. There would have been a bigger rush for tickets and stuff like that. But apart from that, just another day in Madrid. Real Madrid will be missing several defenders on Wednesday, if my notes are correct. Rudiger, Carvajal, Dean Huijsen. Dean Huijsen is obviously ex-Juve. They are all set to miss out. Trent, Ferland Mendy are now back in training. They trained yesterday. So I'm looking to see him today as well. Whether they will actually take part in our Clasico is not too clear. David Alaba must be assessed. He was taken off midway through Sunday's win at Getafe. Daddy Ceballos was absent entirely, but he could play some part in tomorrow's game. And then, that's pretty it. For Juventus, well, we have a pretty solid lineup, and we are expecting a strong starting 11 also. Yeah.
All right, Gary, before I let you go, a lot of people have heard of, about the Bebas, the Real Madrid training facility, blah, blah, blah. Can you just describe how exactly the place is like for those who wonder how it does look like or what it feels like to be at Real Madrid's world famous training facility?
Well, world famous of arguably the biggest club in the world. So it's state of the art. I mean, it has all the bells and whistles. I've been privileged to visit a few training grounds in North Africa, which are quite good. I've been to the Al Ali training ground, to Raja Casablanca, with that training ground as well. All pretty standard. Most of them try. And some of the newer training facilities in Europe, for example, the Man United one has not been there. But if you've been to the Liverpool one, which was open in the last 10 years, it's pretty state of the art. What marks this place out is that they are always up there with the trend. So one thing I noticed, which most of the best clubs even don't have, is that one of the first things I noticed from the broadcaster's point of view was that they have their own personalized, customized satellite installation. So for those who watch Sporty TV, you notice that they are able to broadcast the Real Madrid training live and on the go. Most clubs who are in the top echelons are able to do that. The difference is that these guys are able to do proper broadcast, capable broadcasting from there. To give you the match day experience, that is what is different. Some can do their ordinary training. I mean, even we at Sporty can do, we can go to Kotoko and broadcast the training. But they can give you a proper 360 match day experience broadcast right from Bound and Bebas. And that's out. So, it's not the biggest club in the world for nothing. And so we just have all the bells and whistles. The thing that marks the big clubs, that's why I say that Al Ali is a big club. Because it's the same vibe when you go to Al Ali. You go to an Al Ali training and you see journalists from around the world at Al Ali training. You know that there are club of the century and there's club of the century.
I get you totally.
So Real Madrid say they are the club of the century. Al Ali say they are club of the century. Kotoko say they are club of the century. But they are levels. They are levels to the club of the century. So and for me it's a professional privilege to be here, open your eyes, see what is, and hopefully come and apply to the local context in Ghana, as I always do in the way I work.
Just finally, Gary, so typically, what would the rest of the day look like from a news perspective, from a footballing perspective. So this morning you had about the Bebas. How will the rest of the day play out until match day tomorrow?
Yeah, so they come for the training, they come for the pre-match interviews we hear from Real Madrid and the other team, I think, as well. Then apart from that, so it's match day minus one protocols, as everybody knows. So you see what Xabi Alonso and his counterparts all give us. And I'm not sure who they are going to give us in terms of the player who's going to speak to us. But for me, I'll go to Sporty TV. We are going to do the Sporty show from here. So we talk about it. Then we are going to do the Champions League watch along also. That will be from 6 Ghana time to 9 Ghana time. So I'll be in the studio. We'll do all the matches today. So I'll get back to my lodging around 11:30 p.m. Then tomorrow morning we start again. We go for match day, but I'll do Sporty show again tomorrow. Then I go to the Bernabeu for the game, but I'll do a pre-match live broadcast onto the Sporty show tomorrow to preview the game from the Bernabeu. So then we go and do the game. After about 85 minutes, we have been told that we have to go down to the press conference area. Then I'm going to do post-match interviews with some of the players. So you can get all that content on Sporty FM and on Sporty TV handle and on Sporty TV, the broadcast as well. So that's the plan.
All right. Okay. Sounds like fun. Enjoy yourself. All the best. And I'm sure we'll speak soon.
A lot of work, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of work. Yeah. But all the best. Yes, all the best. All the best. Buena suerte and enjoy your day.
All right, same to you.
All right, that's Team lead Gary Al Smith. He's in the beautiful city of Madrid to join the Sporty TV team as they get ready to experience a Champions League match day. Primarily, their focus is on the Real Madrid-Juventus game set for tomorrow night. And so Gary's already at the Real Madrid training ground. About the Bebas, and the rest of the day will unfold from there. Wonderful. So we'll be getting great updates from Madrid concerning the Champions League. Real Madrid play tomorrow against Juventus. Tomorrow we'll talk about that. Tomorrow morning we'll bring Gary in once again to share thoughts on the game. He will be at the press conference, I'm sure, which will start not too long from now. 9:23, this is the Sporty Breakfast. Your comments are welcome. 054-257-1061. 054-257-1061. My producers, kindly give me some WhatsApp messages. Let's see what the people are saying. Let me go through some of your messages that have come through on 054-257-1061. Ni Lomo from Apam says the state of our league is reflected in how medical staff like physios or masseurs rush onto the pitch and apply ice to an injured player without assessing the situation or consulting them first. It's a concerning approach that raises questions on player safety and proper medical protocols. Okay, let me Jones, I think Jones called. He was wondering if all these policies by the FA would be implemented. His issue is that the people bringing the laws are the people who are supposed to implement the law. So he's not sure how all of this will play out. I understand. I understand your concern, Jones. Okay, let me read this one. This one says, please read this when the Ball Up Top crew are in the studio. Well, they'll be in the studio later tonight. I hope we could get them this morning, but maybe we can. Says, no one is more excited about the NBA tipping off tonight than I am, and the Ball Up Top guys can back that up. I'm not an NFL fan, but I was still tuning in every time, always messaging them to throw in a bit of basketball talk. Now that now that the NBA is back and the Spintex Knights are balling out on the road to BL, I know Winston and the crew will have plenty of basketball talk coming. Tell Winston I absolutely love it when Rondo and Sly get into those heated debates. It makes the show even more fun and entertaining. They've got to keep the energy going. Says, I'll save my predictions for the Ball Up Top show. And love what you are doing and keep it up. And a special shout out to Gary for blessing us with 24-hour sports. Kweku from Bournemouth sent that. Kweku, thank you so much for the message. Thank you. Really appreciate it. You take time out to listen. I always say that if people don't listen, yeah. So really, really appreciate that you take time out to listen. All right, let me wrap up the conversation with Michael Asari-Bredu. He's joining us to wrap it up. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Nathan.
Wonderful. Sorry, we've used the long road and we are back here. You were making a point. We were talking about player welfare. No, you were citing an example before the line decided to act up on us and leave us hanging. So maybe you can finish and give us a prediction or two in terms of the Champions League, and then we'll proceed to other things.
Well, it's unfortunate. You know, it had to happen. The ECG people decided to take their powers.
Oh, ECG. Why ECG?
But as I was saying, a player at Nations FC, for very strange reasons, and this is, I don't know if I should classify it as religious or spiritual reasons. He went for some prayers at one prophetess's end, and allegedly he was advised that he should delay his reporting to camp for pre-season. And when he does show up, he should not engage with anybody, including eating together, shaking hands, or engaging with his teammates in whatever form. And the player personally has been affected by this. The last time I even went to Abranke, he refused shaking my hands, and I was like, it would affect you. This was a brilliant footballer. He's a lateral defender. A brilliant footballer. At one point in time, he was being remote to be joining Asante Kotoko. He was supposed to make a travel abroad due to some one or two issues that did not materialize. And that is the beginning of his downfall. And I don't know, whatever advice that the prophetess gave him are certainly not helped. This season is not even been included in the matchday squad. He's always present at Abrankese. So imagine, Nations FC have been paying him since. And this is an issue that transcends, I think it goes beyond 10 months. So imagine the club has been paying him without him necessarily playing for the club for like 10 months getting to a year. But if there was a contract agreement that spells out the responsibility of a player, then the club will have no emotional burden to carry should they decide to terminate the player's contract. And these are some of the issues that the player standard agreement or the minimal contract terms would actually spell out. There will be guarantees for not just footballers, but also for clubs as well, so that it does not turn out to be a situation where the clubs are being given a bad name when they decide to act in that manner. And then players will also know that these are the do's and don'ts that they don't really have to do. There was a point in time, a Koroko player decided to go play in a community football competition. He got injured, ruled him out for beyond 6 months, and he was still expecting to be played. I know a lot of you know him, Jackson Owusu.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of players like that. There was this player who was loaned from Asante Kodoko to King Faisal, Ibrahim Osman. He got injured, and it became an issue as to which of the clubs should cater for his surgery and then rehabilitation process, whether it was King Faisal, whether it was Asante Kodoko. And it became a lengthy issue. The matter dragged on, and the player did not get any help till his contract expired at Kodoko. So when we are getting such a structure or a contract agreement that details all these, then it would cater for some of these things that actually give our game a bad name. But I was listening to some of the callers. Someone called and said, the Brekum Golden City Park, come on. This one is not like I'm holding brief. I've been there twice already this season.
Yeah.
And even as it stands, Brekum Arsenal have qualified back to the Division 1 league, and they also use the facility.
I think the caller was making a reference to, I think he said he was there last season. He said he hadn't been there this season, so he couldn't speak about the condition of the playing surface. But he mentioned last season, I mean, in terms of his own experience. Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. Okay. (9:31). Okay, we'll see if we can get Michael back. Hello, Michael, can you hear me? Okay, looks like there's a challenge with Michael's line. (054-257-1061) 054-257-1061. We'll be doing some motorsport chit chat in a second. All right, let me go back to the line. Let me wrap it up with Michael. Michael, are you there? Hello, Michael? Hello? Okay, all right. It looks like we have a bit of an issue with Michael's line. All right, before we switch track, let me just run the Champions League games by you this evening. Barcelona are at home to Olympiacos. Kairat Almaty face Paphos. The two games are set for a 4:45 p.m. kickoff. Arsenal face Atletico Madrid. Leverkusen take on PSG. Copenhagen face Dortmund. Newcastle Benfica. PSV Napoli. Union Saint-Gilloise will face Inter. Villarreal at home to Man City. Michael, hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Yes, so you were making a point about the Golden City Park. I was saying that the listener was referring to his experience at the venue last season. To be fair to the listener, at least that's what he said.
Exactly. So I think he cannot use last season's experience to run down the progress the facility has recorded in this season.
Okay.
So I think it should also be fair to Brekum Chelsea and then the handlers of the Golden City Park. There's been a massive facelift.
Okay, wonderful. Quick thoughts on the Champions League in a minute or two. I don't know which game you'll be watching and what your predictions will be.
Well, a lot of games, but I am looking at the games that will be played for today. I think Barcelona need that win against Olympiacos, especially after losing to Paris Saint-Germain at home. They need to record good results to set them up for what is coming up next as regards the El Clasico. And so they need a win against Olympiacos. And if you check their previous games they've played, they have a very good record when they face big sides, and then particularly Olympiacos. Olympiacos has never beaten Barcelona. And so that should encourage the Barca team to go ahead and do what they are supposed to do. And I was happy to see Fermin Lopez back playing from injury. He's a brilliant footballer. And when he's available, I think he kind of addresses the issues that have to do with the absence of players like Dani Olmo, who aren't available. So I think Fermin Lopez comes in to improve the Fermin Lopez. Barcelona should be good enough to be able to defeat Olympiacos. They are not going to have a good run because of the lack of quality in their side. So I am thinking to beat Olympiacos today, and then that aside,
hello, Michael.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, can you reposition yourself? Your line seems to be a little unstable. No, it's still quite choppy.
All right. So as I was saying, they look to be in good form. Don't manage to secure victory.
Hello, Michael.
The same formation money, the principles of
Okay, all right. It looks like we'll have to reconnect with Michael. His line is a little choppy. All right, maybe we'll have to just close the conversation on that. 9:35. All right, let's move it on. Let's talk some motorsport. And I have three gentlemen in the studio. I've got Luis Apieje. He's a motorsport driver. We rarely have motorsport drivers in our studio, so we are in privileged company. We have Anthony Apieje, who's Luis's father, and Kwabena Poku, who's a regular here, is part of the furniture here. Kwabena Poku is president of the Motorsport Federation of Ghana. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to the Sporty Breakfast on Sporty FM.
Thanks for having me.
How are we doing?
Really good, thank you.
Very good. Luis, welcome to Ghana. Is this your first time here?
No, second time. We came for the year of the return.
Okay.
But this is the second time since.
I see. So. That was when, like 2019.
Yeah, 6 years ago. Yeah.
Wonderful. You're currently taking part in the BP Pro Series, which is what, F3, I'm told?
No, the BP Pro Series is a karting series.
Okay.
So essentially, last year I took a year away from car racing because obviously it's very expensive to do car racing. So. I went back into karting for a year to keep my skills sharp and came away with 2 championships.
Wonderful.
And obviously during that process, I'm just using my time to get the sponsorship to go to F3, which is my next goal.
Okay. So you are doing karts now. You want to do F3 next.
Yep.
I see. How long have you been doing this? When did the interest first kick in that you wanted to sit behind the wheel and you know, how do I even say, meet your need for speed to borrow the game in?
Yeah, no, so I've always been into everything cars and racing. As early as the age of 3, I used to play racing games on my dad's PSP.
Oh.
Stuff like that, yeah. And when I turned 7, after a holiday in Mallorca, where I had a few experiences with like some little go-kart tracks, I really enjoyed it. So I was like, yeah, I want to carry on doing it. So my parents got me a voucher to go to Buckmore Park, which is a track in Kent, where Lewis Hamilton used to race at when he was a kid. So it's one of the best tracks in the UK for kids to start their racing careers. So I had a little lesson there, and ever since then I've been hooked to the sport. So
wonderful. So how many years has it been from day one up until now?
So if you start the Buckmore Park experience as my first time in a kart, that was when I was 7. So it's been 14 years now.
Wow, 14 years behind the wheel.
Yeah, over half my life spent racing. Yeah.
Behind the wheel, wonderful. Let me bring in your dad, Anthony. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, hold on. I think your mic is on.
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful. How has it been for you, being Lewis's dad, and he comes to say he wants to do this, he wants to race and all of that? How did you first take it when he said he wanted to do this?
Well, I mean, it was a natural progression because when I used to be a gamer myself, I played games, computer games. Okay. And one day when he was, I think he was roughly 4. Yeah, he always wanted to play with my PlayStation Portable.
The PSP.
The PSP, and it was expensive back then. It was just brand new, So I just kept on saying, look, Lewis, do something else. This is not for you. And he picked it up, and my favourite game was a racing game, Gran Turismo.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
played that a few times on the PS console.
Yeah, the boy picked up the game, 4 years old, and he smashed my time.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. So I allowed him to play the game, and at each time the time was coming down, and it kept on coming down. 4 years old, this is unheard of.
This is
so
FM,
with that, when he turned 6, we I think just before he turned 7, we decided that okay, if you want to try this, you can do it for real. We took him to a kart club, and in the UK these kids start at 6 years old.
Okay.
So he was 7, so when he got on track, and yeah, Lewis was off. Natural. It was like
a duck to water to the manner born.
Yeah, the boy, he set a record in his first year. He set a track record in his for that age group. Yeah.
So about 7 years.
Okay. So he was quick from the off, and never looked back. He's always picked up a trophy every year without fail.
And I see one there's a lovely trophy here.
Yes,
brilliant. Almost looks like the Champions League trophy. Small size. But it's a one. So which trophy is this?
So this was my summer series championship for the BP Pro Series last year. So I won. Funny enough, I just picked this up again this year. So we've just got 3 of these trophies now.
Wow, 3 in how many?
3 in the last 2 years.
3 in the last 2.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So 3 championships I've competed in, and I've won all 3 trophies. So
okay, wonderful. Anthony, you must be a very proud father.
Yeah, very proud. It gets to be. Sometimes you forget how well he races, how good he is, and with racing. It's not like football where you go and find you sign up with a team and you're getting paid. Racing, you have to go and look for the money. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be Hamilton. You still have to get your sponsors to back you for the following season. So this is where we are at the moment, and obviously Ghana hasn't got a racing driver. Yes. And there are things happening in the pipeline. So Lewis has been obviously championing Ghana. He's been mentioning Ghana the minute he was given the platform. I mean, he's had wonderful publicity in the UK and in South Africa as well. So yeah, we're hoping that we're going to do good things with the Ghana Motorsport.
Ghana Motorsport, wonderful. Kwabena, thank you. I mean, you're a regular here. You are here all the time. Your thoughts on this? I mean, when did you first hear about Lewis and his exploits and his big ambitions?
So thank you very much for having us here. And I think it was also 2019, right? When we made contact on I think LinkedIn. So yeah, I think that was the first time we made contact, and I was actually intrigued by his first name. I was like, oh, he's called Lewis. And it's not Hamilton, it's Appiaget. He's Ghanaian, you know.
The father's got the same
name. The father is Anthony. Anthony Hamilton, guess what? Anthony. So the connection was there, and we started chatting, and then he came to Ghana, did a couple of interviews, and we spoke about what he was doing and all that, and we drew that connection and we said that we were ready to, put him out there. So we were actually putting some of his exploits on our platforms already and showcasing what he was doing. So this time around, when he was coming down, we were like, okay, if it's what we're about to start over here, and because he's coming, we're going to put him out there, support what he's doing, try to get people to actually see what he's doing to project motorsport, not just in Ghana, but out there. And because he's also representing himself as a Ghanaian, it was also right for us to jump in and help out, you know, because we also have our programs coming up, and we've already discussed with him how integral the integral parts that he's going to play in those programs and all coming in next year. So so we are very much excited as a group, as a federation, also to have somebody racing in the name of Ghana, and it's amazing. It's an amazing experience.
Wonderful. Can you just throw some light on what some of these programs are, what some of these plans are? Okay, so we are currently working with the National Sports Authority. Yesterday we met the head of the National Sports Authority, Yao. Yao actually welcomed him, and also through his support again for him in what he's doing. So we are currently working with the National Sports Authority to, first of all, build the first of its kind, an ultra-modern go-karting facility, which is FIA standard. It's about 2.6 to 3 kilometer track. We're going to redevelop the Kanishi Sports Complex as one else Sports Complex into a full-fledged go-karting center, have a sim racing center, have the whole mechanic bay, the pit lane, the paddle clubs, the full restaurants, setting up the sick bay. Wow. I mean, everything you need as a go-karting track. The whole shebang.
The whole shebang. And this time around, we're going to have the racing carts itself, not what we have on the market, which are like more recreational. We will have the recreational bits for corporate bodies who want to come and race and things like that, but then we'll have more of the racing carts. Now, it's going to have the STEM education, the academy, that's one. Going to have the STEM education, the sim racing, the championships that we are hoping to race and host in terms of Africa go-karting, bringing them to Ghana, because this is going to be international standard. And we're working hand in hand with the NSA to close this thing off, and construction should begin very soon. We've already spoken to Lewis. Lewis has offered his help to actually help the technical team in terms of the design of the karting track. And also, during the winter season, they normally train in hot weather conditions. Now, we will provide that facility for them to fly in to train over here with his colleague drivers. And also, we are looking at the tourism aspect of it, you know, and the recreational aspect of it. And as I mentioned the STEM education bit, which we are working with STEM Racing UK. STEM Racing UK is an organization under the Formula One system where they promote STEM education. They are willing to come on board as well. So this is actually something that is going to push motorsport to the next level. And to begin with that, we've already started talking to you guys about what we're doing next year to open up the whole system in terms of the interest. We have an event coming up in March. It's a 5-day motorsport event. We're bringing in some racing karts from South Africa with our partners, War Motorsport and Kart in Africa, to do like a show run for 5 days, 25th, 29th of March, full show run at the Independence Square, where we will showcase karting, train a bit of drivers, who have opportunity to race, car exhibitions, everything motorsport will be available. So all of this is coming together in a full circle where we started this a while ago, but now we are going to see the full benefits of the motorsport industry in Ghana.
Wow, those are big plans. I'm really excited by you know, just the idea that we want to do some of these things. Louis, let me come back to you. So you've done all of this. You've done the BP Pro Series. You've won 3 trophies. You want to do F3. What's the plan, right, to doing F3? What do you need to do F3 or to get into it to F3?
Yeah, it's funny because as a racing driver, a lot of your time is spent trying to amass the sponsors to move up. It's almost like driving is the easy part for me. I've been trying to. I think I was ready for F3 like 5 years ago. It's been a really like long, ongoing process of trying to take that step up. But if you want to compete in FIA F3, the money that you need to bring to the table is like 1.5 to 2 million pounds, which is ridiculous. If coming from, even karting is expensive, but taking that step up to such a high level competition, if you don't have the sponsors or rich parents, it's really difficult, which I don't have. So
I'm curious. So this amount of money, 1.5 to 2 million, what does it cover? Is it subscription, cars? What is it? What does it cover?
Essentially everything. I mean, you see, with like, for example, for football, obviously you just go and you're on a wage, but if you're a racing driver, you have to pay the team. Obviously, you're driving a really expensive machine, so you're essentially, your costs cover that, tires, all the mechanics, travel, transportation of the car, fuel, everything. So obviously, I understand why it costs as much as it does, but it's really difficult if you don't come from such a privileged background. Because I mean, even me, I consider myself privileged with the opportunities I've got, but trying to take the step up is it's crazy. You have to be in like the 0.1 top 0.1% of the wealth. It's crazy.
Wow, I never knew that it was such a major obstacle, like the finances of it. I imagine the finances would be played out at the F1 stage, right? I didn't know that
this
further
is a
down the pyramid.
misconception that a lot of people have, that racing drivers have the same type of setup as a footballer. You know, footballers get paid every week.
Yes,
but you get a budget from your sponsors, your backers, the year prior. So everything comes out of the budget. You're traveling, the mechanics travel as well. That comes out of your budget. You're paying for them. You pay for their food. You pay for their hotel. So everything kind of like it amounts up, because if say Lewis is flying a team from London to say LA or whatever, you're paying for those guys, course, and you'll have like 5 technicians. You have to pay for their flights, their food, and then if he smashes up the car, he's got to pay for the car as well. So it all kind of mounts up, you know.
I see. And so far, how's it been like? I mean, have you been able to get some people to come on board? Are there talks in the works? How does it look like?
I mean, his last foray in racing was He was backed by Adrian Flux. Adrian Flux, they're like a big insurance company in the UK.
Okay.
They're basically a motorsports, motorcar-driven insurance company.
Okay.
Yeah, so they dabble in sponsoring drivers, and they came in. And they sponsored. So really and truly, most drivers at that level will be looking at corporate sponsors, sponsorship, which is they can carry the weight. When it comes to that kind of money, there's nothing to them. They're more invested in being attached to drivers like Lewis and his compadres.
Okay, wonderful. Lewis, let me come back to you before I go to Kwabna and we wrap it up. Kwabna was talking about doing all these big things in Ghana. How excited are you, to be part of this, to hear these ideas and to offer your support, your knowledge, your experience to ensure that motorsport becomes a bit more mainstream in Ghana?
Yeah, no, I'm really excited for it because obviously I've seen over the years how passionate Ghanaians are with motorsport and racing, but while there's that passion for watching it, there's not really that many opportunities that I've been able to see that they can take the step up if they want to do it themselves. Obviously, with football, it's easy. You just go to the park and kick a football, and if you want to take it seriously, you take it more seriously. But with racing, obviously, it's a lot more difficult. So I'm excited to see the developments, and then hopefully in the coming years we can see more talent coming through in Ghana. So I'm looking forward to that.
Wonderful. So from the NSA's perspective, what was the response like? Having these conversations, all these plans. You want to construct something at the Kaneshie Sports Complex. What's been the response from the NSA?
Oh, the NSA has been amazing. I mean, I could say the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Yakusi Jemfi, I don't know if you know him. Yakusi Jemfi has been an amazing gentleman in terms of, he took us to the site. We looked at the site. We were supposed to inspect about 3 sites. We went to about 2, and we settled on Kaneshie Sports Complex. And we're currently in the stage at the stage where we're working on the full MOU, which is going to be a PPP, private-public partnership with government having a stake in what we're doing. And this is actually more of a lease agreement with the government, and also for them it will put the aesthetics of it, aside, redeveloping Kaneshie Sports Complex. Look, I don't know if you've been there recently. It's a huge property. It's about, if I'm not exaggerating, it's about 15 acres of
it can easily be, it's just there, because you've got the football pitch, and then the track. Then there's the basketball, and then there's the track that around it.
Exactly. So we're going to redevelop that whole space, build at least 2.6 to 3 kilometers of track on it, have all these amenities around it. What we'll try to avoid is to have crusades there. But that's what we're going to do. And they are very much excited about it. It's going to be the first of its kind in this country, because all the tracks we have here are recreational.
Very recreational. I've visited a few.
These are going to have proper racing tracks, proper racing track with racing carts. Not the recreational tracks will be there, but with racing carts. And that's what I've been advocating for. And that's why recently when I was in South Africa, when I was talking to our South African partners, they were excited about the fact that we are thinking like that and they are ready to help. I mean, our events that we're having in March, these guys are literally flying in these karting racing carts for free. Wow. We're not paying for them because they want to help us develop the sport and also bring our drivers to train at their facilities. There's a Ghanaian driver who landed in South Africa just last week to sign up with the World Motorsport and Karting Africa over there right now as we speak. He met Lewis when Lewis came down. And so they are willing to help us to even, first of all, they are not just coming on as technical partners, they're helping us raise the funding, for the development of those tracks and everything. So the NSA itself is very excited about this project, and it will be one of their flagship projects that they are implementing during their tenure in office. We started, truth be told, we started this discussion last year. Okay. We didn't get the traction we are getting now. Okay. Now the traction has been serious. Last year was, let's do it, not too sure. But this year, when we went to them and we pitched it to them, they did not hesitate. I see. I can bet you, the first day I met Mr. Kusi Jemfi, that day to pitch this idea to him, that same day he showed me 3 properties. He sat in my car and I drove him around every place that we were putting together. He didn't even drive his car to follow me. He literally sat in my car and we drove around Accra and Tema. And then we settled on Kaneshie Sports Complex. And then he told me that, okay, bring the proposal. We're going to go through it. So we send the first round of it. We're working on the second round of it and send it through. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to brief Yao where we've gotten to. He has also briefed Yao already, but then it was good for Yao to also hear from us what we are doing and all of that. And right after that, then we'll go to the next level where we meet the minister and brief the minister on what we are doing, and then meet the Ghana tourism team,
of course,
as well, to see
because of the tourism component, and you have to draw all these connections.
Even our event coming up in March, we're supposed to meet the tourism component and also talk to the now formed Black Star Experience for them to also come on board for this particular event. So I would say the government has been very much interested in what we're doing, and they are willing to help us develop this center. As I was saying, esports gets to benefit because there's going to be a sim race center even there. So
where they do their simulations and stuff.
Exactly. And Lewis holds a Guinness World Record in sim racing.
Wow. Tell me about that, Lewis.
I mean, obviously, when I started, I was always into doing sims, just to, other than being on the track to get practice. I have my sim at home, so I used that a lot when I was a kid, and naturally, I always wanted to set the fastest times. And when I was about 10 years old, there was a page on the Guinness World Record website. It was like a challenges page where you could upload your times and stuff. And I set the fastest time, and I've been holding that world record since 2014. So.
Wow! Yeah. So that record has been in your grasp for what, 11 years?
Yep.
Nobody's broken it.
I've broken it unofficially.
Unofficially, but you haven't attempted to do it again. What time are we looking at? What's the time?
So it's Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, which I think is now, it's a different name now, but I did it in 44 seconds.
And what's the length of the track, or how long did you have to?
I don't know how long the track is, but usually like the lap times are around like 1 minute plus.
Okay.
But I did it with a really fast prototype car called the Red Bull X1, and that car is on the game. It's ridiculous, and it's really hard to control. But when I was a kid, I was really good with using it. So
wonderful. And you've torn up the lap time to that. That's crazy. Wow, Lewis, wonderful stuff, guys. Concluding words as we leave, Anthony and Lewis. What will be your final words as we wrap up our interview?
The most important thing that I want the listeners to take away is Ghana has exceptional talent. We've seen it with our own eyes, and the way we've been received has been it's been immense. You know, from yourself, obviously, and everybody we've met. So. If people can follow Lewis on his
socials,
that'd be extremely helpful.
Okay, we'll do that. Lewis, you're on Instagram. What's your handle?
It's literally just my name. So it's Lewis Appiagyei, spelled APPIAGYEI.
Okay, all right. Let me hold on. Let me go there now. And give him a follow. I'll find that. Wonderful. Okay, Lewis, final words before we wrap it up.
Yeah, no, I'm really appreciative of the support I've got in Ghana, and I'm hoping to repay that faith they've put in me, and hopefully we can see more talent come through in Ghana. If anyone that is listening can help sponsor, then definitely get in touch, and just follow all the socials and follow my journey.
Wonderful. I just gave him a follow.
Thank you very much.
Lewis Appiagyei on Instagram. So you can give Lewis a follow as well. See what he's up to. Be part of the movement. Back him. Let's support him. You never know. He could be, he's flying the flag, right, for all of us. And should he break into the biggest levels in F1, then we can say, we have a Ghanaian running on the track. You never know, we could have our first Ghanaian F1 champ in a few years. That's the goal. Guys, I wish you the very best. Lewis, thank you so much. And I wish you the very best. Anthony, thank you so much, and all the best as you soldier on.
Thank you.
Wonderful. $9:59, that's how I wrap it up this morning on the Sporty Breakfast. My name is Nathan Kwao. Many thanks for joining us. Many thanks to my production team, Immortal, Abigail, Emmanuel, Ayam, Ghana, Nekia, Angela, and Fly. Many shouts to Michael Asai-Bredu for joining us. Eric Alagidede joined us on the line. Thank you so much to everybody who sent a message or gave us a call. Many shouts to Kwabena Poku, Anthony Appiagyei, Louise Appiagyei, and we wish them the very best. As I said, follow Louise on Instagram, Louise Appiagyei. Easy to find. And thank you for tuning in. This has been the Sporty Breakfast. We'll catch you later.